Jaylen Brown explains himself, and Neemias Queta goes off at Summer League. It's all right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Thanks to Blockbuster brand, it's holiday season. Drop Drew in the mix, and 3 from KP. No, we not on the Knicks. Flushing competition like Al on Giannis. Juice and Big Deuce, still Beantown's finest. Banner 18 going up in the rafters. Watch the C's game in locked on after. Karalis on the breakdown. Clutch like a tip from D. White on the breakdown. John on the mic documenting domination. Matter pen a back bay, it's all C's nation. Rain and J's, how we started raising business. How we finish. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners. Peace.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast, right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. I got you covered every Monday through Friday through the rest of July, then 3 days a week in August and September before we get right back to 5 days a week in September and October, I should say, to get the season back. So subscribe. Tons of podcasting here, more than you're going to find anywhere else. So subscribe, get to the show on YouTube, watch there, get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more as the playoffs wind down. Sports stop sportsing like we want them to, but this summer, FanDuel is hooking everybody up with a boost or a bonus every day. So there's something for everyone every day all summer long at FanDuel.com. If you're new to the show, I'm John Karalis, used to play. Now I'm covering the Celtics as a beat writer for Boston Sports Journal, and I've written the book called Built Different, a commemorative book, lots of pictures, lots of words about the championship season, so go pick that up as well. Today, I'm talking about Jaylen Brown, and later on, I'll get to the Summer League stuff. I'll save that for the second and third segments, but Jaylen is the top story, really, because he showed up at the Summer League game and spoke at halftime for a few minutes. Super smart. I got to give the Celtics credit. Super smart to get him talking about that now. When Tom and I were talking about this, if you didn't hear our podcast last week, when all of this happened. So the real setup is Derrick White gets named to the Team USA. Jaylen Brown tweets about it. People start to lose their minds. We did a podcast amongst everybody else who did some kind of show about it. And the question was, like, this was actually like the first misstep in Celtics world, right? This was the first kind of, stepped in it, got to wipe it off your shoe and try to move forward. Well, one of the things that Tom and I were talking about was this is going to linger all summer long until training camp, and then it's going to be revisited. Jaylen shows up at the Summer League game. They say, great, let's just give Jaylen a few minutes at halftime of the Summer League game. It's a short halftime, and answer your questions, get it done with, let's move on. So they did, and he did. And he basically said, look, I called Derrick right away just to make sure there's no confusion. He said, it's all good between me and D. White. So right away, everything is basically wipe your hands of it. He has a problem with Nike, who he blames for leaving him off of Team USA, which maybe, probably, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. It's, he has called out Nike before. As I've said in the podcast, he has worn their shoes, but taken the logos off. And when you're a big corporation like Nike and you have a player like Jaylen Brown wearing your shoes, you kind of want the world to see Jaylen Brown wears our shoes. And when he takes the logos off, well, okay, so that's an issue. If they held him off of Team USA, then that's between him and Nike. I don't like shoe companies having that much of a say. And so whatever. That's a whole separate thing. Jaylen says he's going to talk about that more at some point, but he, at the time when he tweeted his kind of displeasure for how the process went, it was basically no congratulations for Derrick White. It looked like he had inadvertently kind of undermined Derrick White's big moment, right? Derrick got named to Team USA. Team USA played on Monday at noon Eastern time, and Derrick White didn't play in that game. Tatum did. He looked okay. Drew Holiday did. He looked okay. Nothing out of the ordinary for either of those guys. Tatum had a couple of nice dunks. Holiday had a couple of nice shots, some good defense, lather, rinse, repeat. But Jaylen kind of inadvertently undermined Derrick White's moment. So he came out, and it is important for him to get this said publicly. He could have tweeted it out, but this kind of takes the longevity of it away. When it comes to training camp, like, this would be an old story. There's no real need to bring it back up. He's already addressed it. If somebody does bring it back up, he'll just probably say, I talked about that over the summer and we're done. We've moved past it. If anything comes up, it's going to be him and Nike. That's going to be where the focus is, because he said he's happy for Derrick White. He thinks it's really cool that, a quarter of the team is Boston Celtics. And so it's, he took the sting out of a story that could have been lingering for a little while. You just don't want to have that lingering. It doesn't matter. Like, I never thought this was going to be divisive, but as we move forward, as we're looking into this next season, we're looking at, can they repeat? One of the things that you're wondering if they can repeat is, can the locker room stay together, and can they, fight some of the natural human nature stuff that could not pull a locker room apart, but can start some cracks in the locker room. Each season is its own thing. You don't know how guys are going to come out of this summer. Everybody's had this big celebratory summer, and you just don't know how guys, you change from season to season. People change, and you don't want this particular locker room to change, because it was probably the best locker room I've ever been in, just the way these guys were together. So any little thing that threatens that, you go, oh, okay, that could be a thing. Well, good for Jaylen for saying, coming out and saying this, and pretty clear now, not a thing, not going to be a thing. I think we can all move past it. We can all move forward. Whatever Jaylen's thing with Nike is, that's going to be its own thing. But Jaylen and Derrick seem to be good. I never thought that Derrick was going to hold any kind of grudge anyway. So that's done. Great. Moving on. Summer League. Neemias Queta. God, I have this bad habit. Once you get into a bad habit, you got to, like my bad habit of forgetting to do on the video the NBA belt thing. Just keep forgetting it. I got to get into that habit. I got to get into the habit of saying Neemias Queta, who was really, really good in the Celtics Summer League win over the LA Lakers. Let's talk about that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. That's the winning formula for winning championships, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. And with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. My partner on Locked On NBA, Jake Madison, he is a big car guy. I saw one of his Corvettes that he had down in New Orleans, and he uses eBay to get these things running. He buys them. Sometimes they aren't in the best condition. He uses eBay Motors, and those suckers are running, man, and they're running great. So with all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On Sports today, streaming 24/7 on YouTube, on the Amazon free Fire TV channels app. Real sports talk, all of the experts on the Locked On Podcast Network, giving you just good, honest talk, not fake stuff that you're going to see everywhere else on these major networks. That's why we're the best sports network out there. So go check that out. Okay. Summer League. Celtics beat the Lakers 88-74. That was nice to see, and it was nice to see Neemias Queta getting a really nice performance, a big performance out of him with what was his number? I just had it, and then I lost it. 22 points, 8 rebounds for him. They were finding him all over the place. And weirdly, the Lakers defense was bad. The Lakers Summer League team is a bad team. Bronny James is not ready for the NBA. He's a late second round pick. This is not surprising for a late second round pick. You generally don't get immediate contributions from those guys. Doesn't mean that a late second round pick can't turn into a contributor. We're looking at Jordan Walsh, who I'll talk about in a minute. We're looking at Anton Watson, who I'll talk about in a minute. But the Lakers are not good. Their defense is not good. And weirdly, that actually gives the Celtics a little bit of translatable opportunities when it comes to evaluating Queta and whatever progress he's making. Because it's against those types of mistakes that Queta will get a chance to shine. Remember, this is a much different setting. Obviously, when he's playing during the season, he will be playing with Tatum and Brown and White and Holiday and Al Horford and some combination of those guys. And Sam Hauser will be on the floor and Peyton Pritchard might be on the floor. Just really good players. You put Peyton Pritchard on this Summer League team, is going to average 70. So the defenses in the regular season are going to be focused on these other guys. And Queta is going to operate in some space. When the other team looks, Jayson Tatum drives, and they go, oh, there's Jayson Tatum driving. I got to pay attention to that. Queta's doing something behind that so he can get himself open. So in a weird way, this bad Lakers defense allows Queta to seek out that space and find those little opportunities to go up for alley-oops and get behind a defense and those types of things, and learning how to relocate on the baseline depending on the drive. And those types of things are going to be what give Queta opportunities, more opportunities during the season. Obviously, in the first couple months, he's a prime candidate to get some minutes when Porzingis is out. So it's good to see him kind of patrolling the baseline, getting in there, making some moves, showing a little bit of good footwork. This is all good stuff. Still maybe not passing quite as much as I hope, but also he's on a team with a bunch of guys that aren't exactly getting themselves into open spots. So that, as much as I can say, God, he's getting double teamed, he's got to be able to pass to somebody. And then I'm looking around the floor. I'm like, well, no, he's not. Nobody's there to pass to. I want to see him look more, right? When you get double teamed, recognize where the double team is coming from. Where's the guy that he left? I want to see him just scan the floor a little bit more, just so he can look to pass and not dump it off when he gets into trouble. So that's just little thing with Queta. So good performance from him, 22 points, 4 offensive rebounds, 3 block shots. A couple of those blocks were really, really athletic, really good. So good Neemias Queta for the Celtics here. 25 minutes, 22 points. That's efficient. 7 of 10 is nice, and good passing from guys around the perimeter, like J.D. Davison, who had 7 assists. It's funny. So he shot 2 of 5. After going 3 of 3 from 3, I said, God, I would rather him shoot 4 of 9 just because of the game flow. I want to see him stick to it. And here it is, 2 of 5. Almost there, right? It's 40% shooting versus 100% shooting. But I kind of like the 2 of 5 better than the 3 of 3. And if you missed why, it's because any streaky shooter can hit a few in a row. I want a good shooter who can stick with a couple of misses and be like, nope, not a problem. I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep going. And yeah, he hit 2, but it's still 40%. And this is what you want. You want a 40% three-point shooter. So 3 of 3 in the first game, 2 of 5 in the second game. So that's 5 of 8 so far in Summer League. It's really good. So my concerns as you start to string together, can he get another 2 of 5, 2 of 4, 3 of 7 type of game? Can we get those to start to pile up, when they come out on Wednesday? I think, dribbles a little too much still, but I think he's looking for some things to develop. And on the Summer League team, it's easy for me to say, generally speaking, man, I'd love to see him move the ball a little bit more quickly. But again, just like the Queta thing, I'm sitting here watching him dribble on some possessions. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Give the ball up, give it to somebody. But also nothing is materializing. And I think he's waiting for a play to develop. So that's one of those things where, if he was just looking off open guys so he can get to a specific thing, kind of a Rondo-esque type of, looking for a certain pass because he knows he's just going to wait for that rather than just having ball movement, that'd be a little different story. But I think he had a pretty good game. The 2 of 5, the shots were mostly right on. I don't care so much about the misses if they're right on, and these were mostly right on. So that was good to see out of Davison. Another 4 turnovers. That's just going to be how it is. I think, especially in Summer League, he still gets himself into trouble trying to do a little too much. But again, is that a Summer League thing? Is that a J.D. Davison thing? Would he do that if he was with the Celtics and Tatum and Brown? That some of these plays where he got himself into trouble, I'm not sure that's the play he would make under Celtic circumstances, right? So I think this is generally, I would call it a good game. He did get a block, he got a steal, and only 1 foul. So 1 of 2 from the line. And if there's anything that concerns me, it's the free throw shooting. Because if we're looking at 3-point shooting versus, is this real? Is it sustainable? Can this translate? He's not hitting his free throws very well this summer. So that scares me a little bit. It makes me still kind of skew like, all right, 3 of 3, 2 of 5. Is he just on a little bit of a hot streak? Is this going to be a streaky type of shooting thing? Or what? What are we doing here? Because typically, if you don't shoot the free throws well, it makes me think the 3-point shooting is unsustainable. But if you are shooting the 3-pointers well, even if you're missing, the free throws well, even if you're missing 3-pointers, I tend to think like, that's okay. It'll come around. It came around for Drew Peterson, who was 4 of 10 overall, 4 of 8 from 3, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 turnovers, but that's okay. He's not going to be a huge ball handler. It's more the shooting for him. And 4 of 8, there's not much to talk about with Peterson. He hit one really deep one early, and then he hit a few in a row, like boom, 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 as they were kind of holding off a Lakers comeback. So I would say Peterson and Davison are two of the guys that I'd say, okay, those guys played pretty well. Scheierman, Walsh, struggled a little bit. I don't think Scheierman's game was as bad as the box score. And, even Jordan Walsh, who didn't hit, he was 0-5 from 3. I'll tell you why I'm not really concerned. I'll do that in just a second. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's number one sports book. And, summer, things slow down a little bit. It's not as exciting as, spring when there's championships being won, or the fall when everything's coming back and, World Series time and all of that. So, but FanDuel has you covered all summer long. They're hooking up every single customer, new or established, we'll say. You get a boost or a bonus every day. So there's something for everyone every day, all summer long. And so you can head on over to FanDuel.com. I have the betting odds for Major League All-Star MVP, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Bryce Harper are your top three. Ohtani is at plus 800, Judge is at 950, and Harper is at 1100. So if you want to go ahead and put some money down on the All-Star Game MVP, go ahead. Go to FanDuel, set your limits, set your parameters there, your budget, and gamble responsibly at FanDuel. It's the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA. Just mentioned a little while ago, Jake Madison will be doing the Wednesday show. So go check that out. That's tomorrow's podcast. Tomorrow's Locked On NBA. But they're on 5 days a week with rotating hosts. So check it out wherever you get your podcast and watch it on YouTube. So Baylor Scheierman had a tough shooting night. 1 of 6 from 3. And he came out in the first shot. First shot he hit was pure, man. He just stepped into it. Looked good. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Not really that concerned with the tough shooting night. He had opportunities to get more looks, and guys just missed them. It's one of those things where a guy like Neemias Ramsey, who had 13 points, second leading scorer for the Celtics, 13 points in 13 minutes. He's not exactly looking to move the ball, right? Guys aren't looking. Those guys, Ramsey, Ron Harper, those guys aren't really looking to move the ball much. So I think Scheierman got missed a couple of times, but I think generally speaking, he did play well. He had 3 assists, man. His passing is off the charts, I think. He's a really, really good passer, and that helps. I think the shooting will be there. So, but it would be nice to see a game on Wednesday evening. I like to see just a couple of shots fall against. I think Charlotte is who they're playing. So, but his overall game I thought was pretty good. The passing, like I said, he really is smooth with the passing. That feels like that's a very translatable skill. The defense was better. It didn't stand out as like early in that first game. It didn't look great. It got better as it went along, but in this game, he was definitely a better defender. So still out there helping the team. Look, 26 and a half minutes was plus 24. That's a good thing. Not that I'm going to go too crazy about plus minus in summer league, but still that's good. That is I thought he had a decent game. So let's keep piling up the performances there and let's see a nice, decent summer. Anton Watson, 7.7 rebounds, only 3 shots. It says 0 for 1 from 3. I could have sworn he hit a 3. Maybe his foot was on the line, but either way, still same as the first game. Seems to be kind of in the right place at the right time. Kind of understands things. Think fundamentally he's a pretty sound player. I feel like his fundamentals are going to carry him as he tries to get to where he needs to be aggressively with his shot. So I do want to see him shoot more. Jordan Walsh did not shoot well again, 0 of 5 from 3. I want to say the first 3 shots that he took all were online, but short. And it's weird that even the shots he shot after the buzzer, like after a whistle, I should say, those were short. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking, I'm like, I feel like he's leaning back on his shot a little bit. He's just jumping and leaning back. And I don't know if he's afraid of a closeout. If he's afraid of trying, like, it could just be an unconscious response to closeouts to lean back a little bit. But if you're trying to go straight up and you're leaning back and you shoot that ball, it makes sense that it would be a little bit short. And that's what the first few were. Then he finally stepped into one and it went off to the right and he missed. But that one looked to have the right power behind it. And then he missed one later. I think he got frustrated. They let him take a tech free throw and he missed that. And you can see him like rubbing his head. Like, again, very frustrated. He needs to find a nice Zen place and be like, nope, no problem. We're just going to get through it. Before the game, he was saying all the right things. I feel like his head is in the right place. It's just not hard to express your frustrations when you're missing all of the shots that you need to hit to be like, hey, coach, look at me showing you all the things that I couldn't do last year, right? Like, look at me hitting threes and, oh, wait, nope, sorry, never mind. So I feel like how close he was on the first few shots, I think he just needs to dial that in. I think just a fundamental, just stay strong, keep your balance, go straight up, step into a shot, move forward with your shot. Don't worry about the closeout. Don't worry about whatever it is. Don't fade, go forward, step into it and shoot it with some confidence. Like I said, the first few are online. If you just stepped forward and shot it with that confidence, those first couple would fall. So I am not as concerned with the 0 for 5, considering how he missed. That is, if a guy sucks from 3 and there's unsalvageable, then he's just going to be missing all over the place, right? And there are guys that miss all over the place and the ball doesn't come off their hand consistently. And sometimes it goes left and sometimes it goes right. And they just can't dial it in at all. The game that I saw from Walsh makes me feel like dial it in. Like he's right there. That was a very, very Happy Gilmore. Just tap it in. Just tap, tap, tap-a-roo. Just dial it in and you'll be okay. So some of this might be his head. I think if I'm going to put a bet down, maybe I open up the FanDuel app and put a bet down. I bet that Jordan Walsh hits 2 threes against Charlotte. I think he's going to hit at least 2. Maybe he goes over more, but I think he's going to find it against Charlotte. But he did other things: 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, a block. He was with Scheierman as a plus 24, positive impact on the floor. So not a fan of his dribbling ability. I think he little out of control there, got himself into trouble a little bit there, but he did have one gorgeous move to the left, crossover, great finish. And then in the actually, I want to say two gorgeous moves to the left, one in each half. In the first half, he drew a lot of contact. He got bumped and kind of cradled the ball and laid it in. That was really good. And then in the second half, he made a more smooth kind of like the first half was a more physical finish. The second half was a more smooth kind of finish. They were both really nice moves. So he has something there. there is something in there. But if he handles the ball a little too much, it gets a little iffy. So he's got to work on that. It's just one of the things that you just got to do. Get better with the ball handling. But the shooting, I need to see the shooting. And I think that shooting is going to come along. That's just my thought. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Celtics are off in Summer League, and there is no Team USA. So I think tomorrow, instead of the Mailbag Monday, tomorrow will be the mailbag. So johnkaralis.com/mailbag is where you submit your questions. Do a mailbag tomorrow, and then we'll get back into it with some more. The Celtics play at a normal time on Wednesday, so that'll be, you'll have a normal time podcast. So I don't have to be up till 3:30 in the morning. It's like a mid-season. I'm in mid-season form over here with a very late podcast. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you get it. 5 days a week for the rest of July, 3 days a week in August and September. Of course, I say that, but if something happens, there's nothing that keeps me from doing 4 or 5 if I need to. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for doing that if you're already subscribed. I would love it now if you share the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast. Here on the Locked On Podcast Network, it's your team every day.